This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Tonight, bumpy ride. Data shows most complaints about potholes in Nova Scotia hit a dead end. Dartmouth Cove infilling. Transport Canada gives the green light to the controversial development project. And Eagles fever. Cape Breton hockey fans cheer on their team as it heads into the second round of the Q-League playoffs.
Periods of rain rolling in tonight with gusty winds on tap over the next couple of days. Fog patches, but mild temperatures. Your full forecast is coming up.
Good evening. Every spring they arrive. Potholes. While Nova Scotia has a process to apply for compensation if you damage your car on a provincial road, do people ever actually see the money? As the CBC's Anjali Patil explains, the vast majority of people seeking compensation from the Nova Scotia government from pothole damage on provincially owned roads are denied.
If you've done any amount of driving this year, you've likely encountered them. Potholes. Yeah, they happen every year, but if your vehicle happens to get damaged by one on a provincial road, you'll likely hit a dead end trying to get any compensation from the province.
We pay some of the highest taxes in Canada, and we have to pay for safeties for our vehicle to be safe for the road. The road should be safe for us to drive on.
Jade Boothat was driving her car in early March when it happened. Her vehicle hit a deep pothole driving past Windsor on Highway 101.
I tried swerving to avoid the potholes on the left and right side and just wasn't able to. And I got an alert on my vehicle that there was damage to the front driver's side wheel, and I pulled over immediately, and there was a complete cut down my tire. It was destroyed.
Boothat made a claim for pothole damage to the province, and about a month later received a response from Service Nova Scotia that her claim was denied. The reason? Well, it turns out somebody had reported that exact same pothole the week before, and that activated what's known as a standard of 14 days to repair, meaning the amount of time the province gives itself to fix potholes once it becomes aware of them hadn't yet passed.
My problem is that there's no way for me to refute those claims. I have no idea if the first call was within 14 days or not.
Boothat isn't alone in getting rejected for compensation from the province. Data from the last 5 years shows the vast majority of people making a claim with the province for pothole damage get denied. In 2022, for example, there were 935 pothole claims. Only 105 of them were paid. 4 years ago, the Premier of the day considered the possibility of bringing in a third-party pothole adjudicator. The NDP leader at the time suggested the province make public posts about potholes and hazards on provincial roads. But those discussions stopped 2 weeks later because the COVID-19 state of emergency was declared. And the current Premier isn't planning on rebooting the issue.
It's not something that has been on my radar at the moment.
Opposition leaders feel differently. Boothat was left with a nearly $1,000 bill between the cost to tow her vehicle and the repairs to her wheel.
The working class people are being squeezed, and there's a pile of potholes in Nova Scotia that does a lot of damage to people's cars, and that process right now is geared toward saying no to people and not giving them money.
You know, right now, all those people who need to drive, who can't afford most things, probably including, you know, the cost of the gas to put in their car, are then being doubly penalized by this government when their car is, you know, in some way destroyed by a pothole.
Boothat says she supports the idea of a third-party adjudicator, but for now she plans to appeal the province through existing channels. Anjali Patil, CBC News, Halifax.
The search continues tonight for a 73-year-old woman missing in Pictou County, and there's an update on that case. New Glasgow police now say Adair Townsend was last seen early on Tuesday morning in the Mount William area near the Trenton Connector and Highway 106 Exit 1A. Townsend is said to have had a mild case of Alzheimer's and is known to take walks on her own. The search includes multiple organizations, including Search and Rescue, provincial aircraft, and volunteer firefighters. Police are asking people who live in the area of Brookside Avenue, Park Road, and Mount William to check sheds and backyards and to spread the word about the search. The stakes are rising in negotiations between the province and the teachers' union, with a strike vote by union members taking place today. Their union is urging teachers to vote yes to a strike mandate. Contract talks started more than 10 months ago. The union wants more from the government on issues including school violence and teacher shortages. It says many teachers are considering leaving their jobs. Almost 10,000 union members will be voting. Results are expected later tonight. A Dartmouth walk-in clinic will close its doors on Sunday. The doctor who runs the walk-in at Tacoma Family Medicine says staff was stretched thin and they were seeing more and more patients with complex health issues. The president of Doctors Nova Scotia says the closure will be a blow to members of the community without a family doctor.
But given the fact that those clinics are typically run by family physicians and that we're in a shortage of family physicians, not just here, but nationally, it's not necessarily a huge surprise that that the clinic might close down if the physicians are trying to find work-life balance and in their practice.
And I talked to Dr. Colin O'Dane, president of Doctors Nova Scotia, about the pressures these sorts of closures cause on the rest of the healthcare system. That's our newsmaker just after 6:30. People who live in the Dartmouth area are upset with a decision that could pave the way for a large area on the waterfront to be filled in. The CBC's Paul Palmer now on reaction to Transport Canada's ruling to allow infilling in Dartmouth Cove.
Transport Canada has approved an application that would allow around 100,000 square meters of pyritic slate and quarry rock to be dumped into a 2.7 hectare area of Dartmouth Cove. It would transform this space and brings into question what will happen with the new land once it's filled in. The applicant is Atlantic Road Construction and Paving. Company CFO Bruce Wood says they aren't ready to comment yet as there are still some things they need to work out. It's a 2-year window that they've been given to get the work done beginning September 1st, and he says they plan to be ready for that timeline. The infilling would go next to this popular trail. While the trail won't be changed, over the next 2 years it will be far less peaceful and quiet than it is now.
There was a lot of kerfuffle going back and forth between government agencies, but the fix is in and it's going to happen.
Yeah, not a good thing. I'm going to see a lot of dump trucks and all this coming through, and yeah, not impressed. We're going to lose the whole scenery we have here.
Residents are worried developers will get to put more high-rise developments in place, similar to what has happened next to the Cove with the Kings Wharf development, which is still growing, thanks to infilling that is made for a bigger footprint. The Transport Canada decision states the company doing the infilling must immediately notify the minister if the work causes or is likely to cause serious and imminent danger to navigation, take reasonable measures to mitigate potential dangers, and will have to remedy any adverse effects that result from that danger to navigation. The HRM councillor for the area says he's not happy with the decision.
Yeah, well, it's really discouraging, frankly, and disappointing that Transport Canada has gone ahead and issued this permit. There was a lot of community objection to it. HRM made a formal submission to them.
The area is currently zoned as parkland. Even after it is infilled, it will still be zoned the same way.
They're going to create land that's going to have parkland zoning, which you can't develop. You can't put anything on it, and private developers aren't going to turn around and build a park. So at some point down the line, maybe they'll hit the city up trying to get development rights for it, but this property in its creation will be starting the game with nothing, no development rights whatsoever.
Paul Palmer, CBC News, Dartmouth.
The federal government has unveiled its plan to make home ownership affordable for more Canadians. Topping the list is allowing some first-time buyers 30-year amortization rather than 25.
These are all real, tangible measures that are going to help more Canadians get into the housing market and buy their first home while protecting Canadians who already own their own home.
The longer amortization changes apply to first-time buyers purchasing a newly built home on insured mortgages. Current rules limit amortization to 25 years if the down payment is less than 20% of the home price. The Canadian Home Builders Association has been pushing for the 30-year period. Other measures include permitting larger withdrawals from RRSPs for down payments and requiring lenders to offer permanent amortization relief to borrowers meeting certain criteria. The town of Lunenburg has paved the way for the sale of land that could see 250 new homes. Council has voted to declare part of Blockhouse Hill as surplus, which it will eventually sell. Council also picked the second densest development option from the consultants. It would allow for 250 units of low-rise homes and add 740 people to the town. Council had considered a denser option, but that would require millions more in wastewater upgrades. Only half of the 9-hectare site would be sold, with the other half remaining parkland. There will be a public information meeting and hearing before final decisions are made. So, Ryan, some clouds today, but no rain.
Yeah, a couple of showers on the leading edge of what will be this next line coming in. And that is where, the meat and potatoes of this system will come in with periods of rain, even the risk of a rumble of thunder. And yes, you can see on the radar, a couple of isolated showers today, mainly over New Brunswick. We did see a few spits of showers here off and on, mainly this morning. There is the first line that's going to be coming in as we move through tonight with some rain and drizzle. But the bulk of the action here is still across the southeast parts of the U.S. That's the line that's going to be shooting in mainly later tomorrow evening into the overnight. That's where we'll see the greatest risk of thunderstorms and the greatest risk of heavier downpours. Temperatures on the rise, certainly for tomorrow, widespread 12 to 16 degree temperatures, warmest in the valley, a little cooler along the Atlantic coastline and into Cape Breton. And note the winds, sustained near 40, gusting to 60, except 70 and even 80 along exposed areas of the coastlines and even over higher terrain areas as well. So this will be a pretty gusty system. Note as we move through Friday, there's that first line of rain, and then it really starts to get darker here in terms of those greens for the later stages of Friday into Friday evening and the overnight. This is where we'll see our strongest winds as well, and that will carry through into Saturday morning. Now for Saturday, it looks like the bulk of the action is going to be over kind of the eastern parts of the mainland. We'll see some sun breaks, even potential for the western parts of the province, and another chance of showers rolling through, especially into the afternoon. All of this action moves off to the north and east, and for Sunday, just kind of, cloudy, couple of sun breaks, isolated chances for showers mainly off to our north. So the weekend will be far from a washout. We'll walk you through it with your full detailed 7-day forecast coming up in a few minutes. Amy.
All right. Thanks for that, Ryan.
Thank you.
Well, Transport Canada says it's not aware of any operational impacts to the Nova Scotia to PEI ferry service caused by shoreline erosion in and around Wood Islands. This comes after some people in the community raised concerns about the level of erosion and what impacts it could have. Transport Canada says it hired a consultant in 2022 to study the area and is now looking at recommendations. They include the installation of structures to reduce the impact of waves and infilling. Transport Canada says it dredged the harbour 2 years ago and doesn't see a need for more at the moment. O.J. Simpson has died at the age of 76. The former NFL superstar was acquitted of double murder in 1995 in a trial that captivated the world. Simpson was one of the greatest running backs in football history, playing mainly for the Buffalo Bills in the 1970s. Simpson's career off the field brought fame and fortune in movies and commercials, but his reputation was in tatters and spiraling following his murder trial. He was accused in a brutal knife attack on his ex-wife Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ron Goldman in 1994. But a jury acquitted him in a controversial verdict. The defense team claimed O.J. had been framed by a racist Los Angeles police force. Simpson was later found liable in a civil judgment. And as mentioned, the O.J. Simpson trial was watched around the world, including here in Halifax. Here's a look back at how Haligonians reacted to the non-guilty verdict. The CBC's Cynthia Kent reports.
At the Dalhousie University Law School, the Midtown Tavern, and the Bay Department Store, every television was tuned to O.J., and everyone had an opinion.
I think he's guilty and he's going to get off.
I don't think he's guilty, somehow. I don't know, just got that feeling.
I think if he gets off, I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to make me probably a bit annoyed. I don't know.
I'm pretty interested, like a lot of people, in what the verdict's going to be, but I'm certainly surprised, like everyone else, that it came so quickly. And that's making it a little more exciting.
What? We all got to decide who says guilty first degree. What, on both counts now? Guilty second degree. Not guilty? Who says hung jury?
then the verdict.
Find the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony upon Nicole Brown Simpson, a human being, as charged in count 1 of the information.
Actually, I'm very happy with the verdict because I don't think OJ did it. I feel very sorry for the families and the victims, but I think that justice has been done here by not convicting OJ, but I think they should find who did it.
This was a circus. I think LA is a joke. I think the U.S. justice system is a joke, and I think that race played too much of a role in this verdict.
I was not surprised. I felt that in this case, he had the money to buy the lawyers who could dig deep enough to show reasonable doubt.
I didn't think anybody with any reason or logic could find him not guilty, and it really surprises me that 12 people could all reach that verdict in such a short time.
Guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section.
I don't think it's right. I think he was guilty, but he got off. Probably got the money. Money talks.
I just felt he hadn't done it. There wasn't enough to prove it. And I'm very pleased for him. Sorry for the families, but pleased for him.
And no matter what the opinion, people didn't hesitate to share it. Cynthia Kent, CBC News, Halifax.
A record number of fans will be heading to Centre 200 this weekend for the Cape Breton Eagles playoff games. The team is off to the second round. Right now, they are the talk of the town. Here's the CBC's Kyle Moore.
Wires throws it in front, scores, Cole Burbage, Eagles lead 2-0.
It's a playoff push that has people talking, and right now the Cape Breton Eagles are the hottest ticket in town.
Totally awesome. I think the Eagles deserve that kind of warmth from the community.
Fans flocked to the Centre 200 box office today in hopes of securing their seat. By mid-afternoon, the tickets were gone, and Game 1 is now officially sold out.
To be a part of it for us, you know, we're just a young group of guys having fun and enjoying the ride, so it's going to be fun and we feed off their energy.
The Eagles hit the ice today in preparation for their second round matchup against Chicoutimi. The hype and support surrounding the team has translated to wins on the ice.
The first playoff series we saw, it was electric here and it was great and the crowd was amazing, and we're supposed to get even more fans for this weekend, so we all can't wait and we're excited for it to start.
Shoots, go!
Playoff success hasn't been easy for the Eagles, and that has translated to low attendance numbers the last couple of years. But a new game plan by the front office has changed that.
We wanted to take the franchise in a new direction, you know, a little bit of modernization, you can say, I guess, a little bit more heavy on the social media trends and you know, video and just trying to create that connection with fans to players.
It's been a while since fans have filled the Upper Bowl for an Eagles game, but that's exactly what will happen here tomorrow night as they will be packed in to the back wall, making it the largest crowd in franchise history.
It's great to see the city buzzing. It's going to be awesome to see Centre 200 on wheels this weekend. And yeah, I think the whole organization, ownership, office staff, hockey ops, everybody's excited to see what this weekend's going to bring.
As far as a prediction for the series,
I was nervous going against Rimouski. The world's their oyster right now. I think they're going to do all right.
Game 2 is Saturday night at 7 p.m., and they are expecting another sellout crowd. Kyle Moore, CBC News, Sydney.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre and New Brunswick Premier Blaine Higgs spoke today at an annual conference to support Canada's conservative movement. And we've got Ryan up next with the weather forecast. We will see you on the other side of the break. certainly felt very spring-like today. You know, not too hot, but not too miserable either.
Yeah, it was a much milder start to the day as well. I think that helped with kind of the spring type feel. And yeah, a couple of showers kicking around, but we had some sunshine as well. And the sun's still trying to break through for some parts of the province. Have a look, and a beautiful shot
isn't
here.
That lovely?
Yeah, Lower Truro at the Fundy Discovery site, and
you could see the sun, the yellow, just at the bottom of the cloud there.
Yeah, still kind of breaking through. That cloud, though, is it's generally moving in.
And what kind of cloud is that?
Well, we've got some altostratus there, and yeah, it's looking pretty good. We've got note temperatures 10 at Greenwood, 10 at Pictou. That's the Caribou Point station. That's usually one of the coolest spots, obviously, in a northerly flow. But yeah, nice southerly flow temperatures are bumping up there. Chedacamp's at 11. And that's where we've got the winds coming in off the obviously off the Cape Breton Highlands. Now note those winds right now sustained around 20. We're looking at some gusts upwards of 30 to 40 kilometers per hour, and yeah, even 50 in through the Westport area. These winds are going to be picking up as we carry through tomorrow and into tomorrow night. This is the first line of rain that we're going to be watching tonight. Then a bit of a break. Still some rain, yes, but the heaviest rain is going to be here coming in with this line. So we'll time it all out for you here in detail now. You can see the winds from the south tonight, generally 20 gusting to 40, except again gusting to 50 here in the Tri-County area. And we are going to be looking at that that wind continuing to ramp up through tomorrow. Now, we do have a rainfall warning in effect for this system, by the way, from Shelburne County right up the Atlantic coastline, including Halifax and the Eastern Shore. And we'll show you the totals in just a second, but wanted to make sure I did mention that. So there's that first line of rain that comes in from west to east. By the time we get to 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, you can see we're all into the mix, Cape Breton as well. Again, a bit of a break, but I think we will see some periods of rain, but there will be times tomorrow where it's not raining. Just some drizzle. Fog patches are certainly going to be a factor as well. And then, again, the heavier rain looking set to arrive from west to east through tomorrow afternoon. Note the temperatures really mild here, especially in through the valley as those steadier rains come in. We'll continue to pick up that timeline in just a second. So tomorrow those winds will be gusting generally to 60 for Cape Breton, except 80 along exposed areas of the coast. And there's a lace to wet wind warning in effect for Inverness County North, where the gusts could be upwards of 110 there in those lace to wet winds, not only tomorrow, but tomorrow night into Saturday morning. 12 degrees there with those downsloping winds off the highlands. We're going to be looking at temperatures as warm as 13, 14 degrees for the Northumberland shore tomorrow. Will be as mild as 16, maybe even 17 degrees through the valley tomorrow. So it's definitely going to be mild there, gusting to 50. We'll gust 60, 70, even 80 along exposed areas of the coast here in through the southwest. And along the Atlantic coastline here in the Halifax area. Inland higher terrain areas could also be quite gusty with this type of a setup coming in. So you can see these periods of rain will continue to track through Friday evening, looking particularly wet. And then that rain will kind of push its way further eastward for Saturday. Again, potential for some sunny breaks, but it looks like it's going to be the western part of the province. The valley is going to be really the best chance. Note the rain continues here, Cape Breton and eastern parts of the mainland. These are kind of showers that are going to be moving through, and there's some of those more potential sunny breaks. Not sure they'll work their way as far east as Truro and Halifax. A better chance is going to be here through the valley. And if those sun breaks do really become quite prevalent into the afternoon, that 14 could shoot up to around maybe 15, 16, 17 degrees on Saturday. So that's going to be dependent on the sun. We will see, again, the mild temperatures all across the board. And then that line will move its way out. Sunday, mainly cloudy. Couple of sunny breaks possible. Isolated shower chances into Sunday afternoon. Temperatures on Sunday ranging from around 8 to 12. Rainfall outlook, as I mentioned, the rainfall warning in effect from Shelburne County right up the eastern shore. Looks like generally 10 to 20 millimeters for northern, 10 to 30 millimeters rather for kind of the northern half of the province. Closer to the Atlantic coastline, we're going to be into the 30 to 50 and 60 millimeter range. And yeah, the eastern shore, better potential here for 50, 60, maybe 70, 75 millimeters potential. Definitely eastern shore is the best chance of that. Cape Breton can't rule out some of those higher 50-plus totals either. We'll taper off a few lingering showers for Monday, and yeah, we will be looking at some sunshine and definitely a brighter forecast into next week. Amy.
Plenty of double digits, too.
Yeah, definitely. A nice little run here.
We'll take it. All right, thanks, Ryan.
Thank you.
Up next, I'll talk with Dr. Colin O'Dane, president of Doctors Nova Scotia, and I'll ask about the closure of another walk-in clinic in the Halifax area. That's our newsmaker. Stay with us. You're watching CBC Nova Scotia News. A Dartmouth walk-in clinic is set to close permanently this weekend. The doctor who operates Tacoma Family Medicine says the walk-in clinic could no longer keep up with the increasing demand for health care without putting patient safety at risk. Dr. Colin O'Dane is president of Doctors Nova Scotia. So first off, could I get your reaction to the news that the Tacoma clinic is closing on Sunday, the walk-in?
Well, I think it's my initial reaction would be it's going to be a difficult situation for that community. I'm sure they rely on that walk-in clinic a fair bit to get access to primary care. But given the fact that those clinics are typically run by family physicians and that we're in a shortage of family physicians, not just here, but nationally, it's not necessarily a huge surprise that that the clinic might close down if physicians are trying to find work-life balance and in their practice.
Now, Dr. Mohammed Al-Jrigi, who operated the clinic, says the 4 doctors who worked there felt undervalued and underpaid for the service they were providing. Does that echo what you're hearing from other doctors in the province?
Well, I would say that the contract that we just recently negotiated in the spring, the goal of that contract was to stabilize primary care, more specifically the longitudinal care that you see when you have an attachment to a family doctor. And that was where the investments were made, and those were the priorities of that contract. And in that regard, I think we've been quite successful, and most of the feedback that we've received from family physicians has been quite positive with respect to that. Now, the walk-in clinics don't fall under that umbrella, so they probably didn't receive the same level of investment. But in terms of trying to recruit and retain family physicians to provide long-term family care and make it viable to run a family practice, we think that we've been fairly successful. It's a model that's been used in other provinces. A lot of the other provinces have looked at it, and I'm at least one other province who negotiated after us, Manitoba, I believe, essentially just mimicked what we did here in Nova Scotia, because they felt also that it was a very good way to try and recruit and retain family physicians to the province.
Well, what kind of pressure do closures like this one put on the rest of the system? I'm just wondering where the patients tend to go. Is it virtually with Maple, or do they end up in the ER?
Well, there are a few different options for patients who would not maybe have routine access to a family doctor. Emergency departments are one. Emergency departments are struggling, and they're not ideally suited to look after the needs of patients that have relatively minor issues that would be better suited to be seen in a family physician's office. So that's created other pressures in the system. We're not just short family doctors. The emergency department is under a tremendous amount of strain as well. But to answer your question, there are virtual care options that are available, that are being covered by the province and don't even have to be paid for out of province, as well as pharmacy clinics and other mobile clinics that are also options for people that don't have access to a family doctor.
Well, the number of Nova Scotians looking for a family doctor reached an all-time high of 156,000 as of March. Do you have any hope that that number will go down anytime soon?
Well, I don't know if I can put a finger on a timeline with respect to when that number will come down. I'm hopeful that number will at least stabilize. That number is complex. It's not just related to the number of physicians in the province, but it would also have to do with the number of people that are moving to the province as well. But our hope is that the contract has, at a minimum, decreased the likelihood of people leaving the province or leaving longitudinal family care in the province. More senior physicians hopefully will consider staying around longer and not retiring, while we can train and recruit new family physicians and in that way bring down the number. But I don't really know how quickly that can happen, but I think that the contract that was negotiated last spring is for sure a step in the right direction.
Now, the Houston government recently reinstated doctor recruitment incentives for the Central Zone. Will that have any impact, do you think?
I would think that it would. It's certainly been something that's been helpful in other areas of the province. We've heard for a long time that physicians in Central Zone have felt that type of incentive would be useful in the Central Zone as well. So I guess time will tell if it's successful, but I believe it'll have a positive impact.
All right. Well, Dr. O'Dane, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it today.
You're very welcome. Have a good day.
Coming up, thick snowpack is one factor that can lower wildfire risk, but that didn't happen across much of British Columbia this winter. Welcome back. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre delivered a keynote speech today at a networking conference supporting Canada's Conservative movement. It comes as the federal Conservatives seek to widen their lead in the polls against the governing Liberals. The CBC's Olivia Stefanovich has more.
Please join me in welcoming the common sense Conservative, the next Prime Minister of Canada, Pierre Poilievre.
It's a title the opposition leader is hearing more often these days.
Merci beaucoup. Who's ready to axe the tax?
With his party soaring in the national polls, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is on a mission to solidify his lead and topple his main political rival.
See, the thing is, it's not that Justin Trudeau is too liberal. It's that he's not liberal at all.
In a speech before a Conservative networking conference, Poilievre took shot after shot at the Prime Minister and got personal.
Pierre Elliott Trudeau famously plagiarized when he said that the government had no place in the bedrooms of the nation. Now, his son wants the government to be in every room of your house and your business.
National polls show Poilievre's strategy is paying off. A new survey by Abacus Data shows the Tories 20 points ahead of the Liberals, their biggest lead yet.
It's very exciting for Conservatives to finally have that person in place and to charge people who are under 40 and get them going and get them excited.
We're on the cusp of a new energy, a new movement in this country.
This despite a flurry of pre-budget announcements by the federal government, amounting to tens of billions of dollars in promises.
As much as the Liberals are trying to take control of the agenda, demonstrate to people that they have a plan, it doesn't seem to be working to change people's minds.
This pollster says Canadians are being drawn to Poilievre's messaging on affordability, a focus that he says is bleeding support from all parties.
They're picking up significant numbers from former Liberal voters, from former New Democrat voters, from former People's Party of Canada party supporters.
With the federal election more than a year away, he says there could be a risk for the Conservatives peaking too early, but only if voters are convinced a change in government would be worse than the status quo. Olivia Stefanovic, CBC News, Ottawa.
Today, Meta, the company that owns Facebook and Instagram, announced new tools designed to protect its users from sextortion and other forms of online intimate image abuse. It will blur messages containing nudity and issue warnings about the dangers of sharing intimate pictures. The Canadian Centre for Child Protection says the measures do not go nearly far enough.
It's far too little and far too late. We've been begging for some of the things that they've announced here for probably a decade. Our experience with this is that platforms are going to do as little as possible to keep user engagement, because what user engagement generates is ad revenue. So, a lot of this is downloaded onto the consumer, whether that's the adults, whether it's saying parents are responsible, or in this case, trying to flag to kids about nudity and you might be in receipt of a nude image. Again, it's not that some of these things can't help, but it really isn't going far enough. We are in an epidemic around losing kids to this. So it really is a Band-Aid approach to it.
The new features will be turned on by default for users under 18, and Meta says it will notify adults to encourage them to turn it on too. The Canadian Centre for Child Protection says it receives about 10 reports of sextortion every day. One factor that can reduce wildfires in the summer is the formation of thick snowpack in the winter. Across much of British Columbia this year, that did not happen. The CBC's Michelle Morton has that story.
As of April 1st, the provincial snowpack is at 63% of normal, 25% lower than last year, and the lowest since records began in 1970.
Without that snowpack, we're going to be dependent on periodic rain throughout the summer to both saturate the ground and to keep our forests both vitalized and to keep the fire danger low, but also to maintain this flow in the streams and the rivers.
The report finds only Vancouver Island saw a normal amount of precipitation. Daniels warns the El Niño winter kicked off in early spring, setting us up for a long, dry wildfire season.
And we know that we're in a multi-year drought. So these are places already that had low precipitation last summer. We had big fires as a result last summer. And we went right through the fall with low rainfall, not enough snow through the winter.
The report comes just as Metro Vancouver announces its seasonal watering restrictions. Starting May 1st, residents and businesses can only water lawns once a week. The River Forecast Centre says the snowpack could increase into May with more cold, wet weather, and it notes the low snowpack could have one benefit.
The lower risk for flooding this year in the interior. Areas that have been hard hit by flooding, I'm thinking about Cache Creek or Grand Forks, they can, hopefully will breathe a sigh of relief that the likelihood of flooding this year is pretty low.
But he warns sudden or extreme rain could still cause flooding. Michelle Morton, CBC News, Vancouver.
They are modest homes with a big historical significance in Gatineau, Quebec. So-called matchstick homes housed working-class families employed at sawmills or match factories in the 19th and early 20th centuries. Now, heritage advocates are concerned they may be demolished before they can be protected. Matthew Kupfer has that story.
There's a movement in Gatineau to save houses like this one. They might not look like much at first, but these houses are woven into more than 100 years of the city's history. Across the river from Ottawa, working-class residents of Hull could order so-called matchstick houses from a catalog. Those catalogs had a picture of a matchbox on the cover, giving them their nickname Maison Allumette. The matches were a nod to the E.B. Eddy match factory down the road, one of Hull's and Canada's largest employers. Materials for the houses were delivered to the lot. Everything from pre-cut wood to the exact number of nails. Think IKEA before IKEA, but a whole house. Large working-class families would rent the 3 to 5 bedroom homes, a distinct arrangement from apartment buildings in other major Quebec cities like Montreal. The houses have distinct pointed roofs. Each room had a window because contemporary epidemics had made air circulation a priority. Over the years, their numbers have dwindled to about 100, and there are concerns they'll be wiped out. As Central Hull builds up, the lots have become more valuable to developers than the buildings themselves. In just the last 3 years, the city of Gatineau has approved demolishing 36 of these matchstick houses. Of those, 10 since the province recommended delaying demolitions while a study on preserving their heritage value is underway. Local heritage advocates say more of these homes should be protected and maintained. They say the lack of collective protections for these buildings shows the bias of heritage policy toward preserving elite and religious buildings, even though workers laid the foundation for what the city is today.
A handful of restaurants in Toronto are celebrating a big boost this week. It follows an unexpected visit from American TikTok food critic Keith Lee. As Katie Nicholson shows us, with 16 million followers, his reviews can have a huge impact.
This is gonna be crazy.
Minutes from opening for lunch and the online orders are already pouring in.
Hey guys, let's do a little quick prayer. Dear God, we just want to thank you for this day, that the influx would not make us frustrated.
Kelandra Edgecombe asking for help from the heavens after appealing to someone else on TikTok.
Kenzie, tell him your mommy makes the best food.
My mom makes the best food.
That video posted Saturday directed at Keith Lee, an American MMA fighter.
These look amazing. Boy.
And one of TikTok's most influential food critics.
That's good service.
His reviews rack up millions of hits and drive hundreds to the small independent restaurants he visits.
This is a 9.8 out of 10.
And he's just eaten his way through Toronto.
For sure, you right on. God damn.
Dropping review.
That waffle is soft and buttery.
After review.
That's unique. Yeah, that's good. That's real good.
After review.
Yeah, it tastes like a banana loaf.
After review.
With the cheese sauce. It's like an 8.5 out of 10.
He posts.
It's very tender. 8.4 out of 10.
His followers flock.
Ever since he came by, the wait time is double. If not an hour and a half, then 2 hours.
We've been officially Keith Lee. They're ordering everything Keith Lee ordered.
Are they really?
Yeah. Yes.
Lee saw Edgecombe's video and dropped by the same day.
I was at the cashier and I looked and I saw Keith Lee and I started freaking out. I was like, no way, that's not Keith Lee. And he came to the cashier and he was like, the food was amazing.
Have you been here before?
No, never.
No, so you came just because of Keith Lee?
Just because of Keith Lee. No,
Daniel Abraham loves what Lee has done for his city.
With inflation, with how hard it is to keep a business, and after COVID, what happened, it's important for us to support these businesses.
For Edgecombe, it's an answer to her prayers.
But I've just been praying and asking God, like, please just do something for me that I could stay open, because it's been hard, right? And I feel like a push like this is gonna help us to stay open for a long time.
And possibly, maybe even expand her restaurant. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Toronto.
Unusually mild weather in the winter led to an early spring in some parts of the country. In Abbotsford, BC, most flowers are already in full bloom at this year's Tulip Festival. The CBC's Sohrab Sandhu paid a visit.
Red, white, yellow, and purple.
Rows upon rows of tulips are on display at Lakeland Flowers in Abbotsford.
The colors are just incredible. It's just a sea of colors here.
The flowers are so nice.
For owner Nick Warmerdam, the annual Tulip Festival is a time to sit back with his best friend Diesel by his side to take in what he calls a labor of love. He's been growing tulips for 3 decades.
This land, because it was reclaimed from a lake, the soil is quite sandy, and that makes it a lot easier for us to sift all the bulbs out of the soil during the summer when we have to harvest them.
Last year, the festival made a triumphant return after most of Warmerdam's bulbs were destroyed in the devastating floods of 2021. Warmerdam says this year the milder winter temperatures saw flowers blooming earlier than usual. 5 million tulips to be exact.
We had 4 or 5 days of weather in the 20, it was around here, it was 23, 25 degrees. And with a tulip bulb, they react very quickly to the weather, to temperature. So we are ending up with an early start.
Visitors can expect to see more than 100 varieties of tulips, 30 of them new this year. Some bulbs brought in all the way from Netherlands.
We might switch, change some of the varieties for new ones, but I don't think I can manage having more than 100 varieties, or otherwise I'm going to get mixed up.
Amongst the flowers are scenic photo backdrops, like at this canoe or on these swings. Warmerdam says last year's festival attracted more than 56,000 people to his farm.
We're going to have to see whether the Mother Nature is going to keep the tulips looking nice all the way till Mother's Day or not. The cooler it is, the longer the flowers stay looking nice in bloom.
The festival usually stretches until Mother's Day, but Warmerdam is concerned with the early start. They may not last as long. Saurabh Sandhu, CBC News, Abbotsford.
Oh, those April showers. I guess they are to be expected,
The
right?
Mayflowers are going to be off the charts this year.
They won't be thirsty at all.
No, definitely not. And we hope the sun will be a little more prevalent. Even next week, it does look like we'll, put a nice little stretch together like we did this week. We just kind of want to thread the needle and get some of these nice stretches on the weekends.
But, work your magic, right?
Yeah, we'll try. Speaking of the sun, this was a viewer picture that was taken the day of the eclipse in Inverness County, and a beautiful shot here. This is actually the sunset after the eclipse, and beautiful shot here. Thanks to Patty for sharing this. Yeah, I love that. The clouds just nicely shadowed there. Beautiful shot. Thank you, Patty. Ryan's picks at cbc.ca. Now, across Cape Breton tomorrow, temperatures are going to be ranging from around 8 to 10 degrees. The mainland will be warmer, 10 to 14 for most, but I think the valley, it's going to really pop tomorrow in this kind of a setup with a southeast wind, 15, 16, even 17 degrees looking set there. Sustained winds near 40, gusting 60, and yes, exposed areas gusting 70 to 80 kilometers per hour tomorrow along the coastline. Higher terrain areas possible to see that as well. Again, that first line of rain tonight into tomorrow morning, then a bit of a break, and then that secondary push comes in late tomorrow evening into the overnight. That is when we will see the heaviest rainfall. That's when we'll see the risk of rumbles of thunder as well. And another little push coming in later Saturday as well, though possibility of some sun breaks in between. And then, chance for some sun breaks again on Sunday. So not a washout.
Yeah, we'll take those sun breaks where we can. Well, an award-winning painter from Brazil is preparing for her big break in Paris.
And she's only 10 years old. Sofia Helena was just 6 years old when one of her teachers spotted her talents, as she has been drawing and painting ever since.
Sophia says she admires Vincent van Gogh for his ability to portray emotions in his works.
She recently won a contest, and later this year will have some of her works displayed at a private gallery near the famous Louvre Art Museum.
An overachiever indeed.
Yeah,
all right.
Definitely good for her.
Well, that's it for us tonight. Thanks so much for watching. We will see you next time.
Good night.